Well, it's it's late in February now, and thought I'd just have a record of a few of the plants, the spring plants that are in blossom or just going over. At this time of the year you get several of the plants out together, so this is a good time to have a look. We've got crocuses all over the woodland. These are very early ones, and I'm no gardener, but I think they're called aconites, and you see those dotted around. You can see the snowdrops, which are just starting to go over as the daffodils start to come to take their place. So just wander around. More crocus. Yeah, the daffs are just starting to come into blossom. I used to, at the end of the bulb season, buy cheap sacks of daffs and just pop them in. Didn't really matter what species they were, because you tend to see them from the house, which is up there. But most of these were put here by the chap that planted this small wood back in the 1960s, and he did a good job. The problem with putting new ones in, as I discovered a year or so back, was that we started to get muntjac deer coming in. Those are the little fat jobs. They look nothing like roe deer. They're an introduced species and they eat anything, and they were digging up the bulbs and eating them, so I didn't bother after that. These are particularly nice. Look, beautiful little flowers, aren't they? Just at their best in the sunshine, but the snowdrops next to them are just starting to go. Those still look okay. These are the very earliest of the daffs in this corner, and they come and go quite quickly. So I just walked down, making a record of them for me for the future. There's a lovely little collection. This ground cover plant is periwinkle, and it's doing a good job. No, I never planted any of this. All I did was clear the wood when I came here over a period, and discovered all these lovely things underneath brambles and other debris. There was a bramble patch here that was 8 feet tall, covered the whole of this area, and I cleared it all by hand, and discovered all these lovely snowdrops underneath, and other plants as well. I've got no idea what the names of these things are. As I say, I'm no gardener. These are just going over. They tend to flower, you know, they are winter flowering, but as I say, no idea what any of these things are. But I'm quite pleased with this little bed. It still needs to be hand cleared every year though, because you know the brambles, they grow back, don't they? Eventually you get the best of them. A few miniature daffs coming here, which are rather nice. Beautiful little things, aren't they? There's all sorts of interesting plants in this area here that the chap back in the 60s put in, and when I cleared the place, they all decided to come up, which was nice. I haven't done any work here at all except make this into a lawn. Well, I didn't make it into a lawn, I just mowed it until it became a lawn. So there's lots of little crocus here, look. There are some late flowering ones over there, but they won't be coming up just yet. There's some nice ones, miniature daffs, 2 colours. So I say if I come and do a video later, there will be no snowdrops to look at, so that's why I'm doing this now, because everything is coming out or just going over together, so you see more of them. Lots of snowdrops here. Bluebells just starting to come. There's the periwinkle, the ground cover. Just wander down the paths. Have to be careful not to step on them. As I say, I didn't know they were there when I cut these paths out. I made lots of little walkways through this area to just make it more interesting. The other thing we're going to look at is the summer house, which actually was a Wendy house when I first discovered it. It was so overgrown here you couldn't even see it, and it stood, you can still see where it stood, just behind these snowdrops, and I took it all to bits and rebuilt it and put it up so that it faces south. But it does need work every year because, you know, it was rotten when I started repairing it. There's one section here, you can see it's cracked and very spongy, so that needs to be cut out and replaced. I made all this from the wood that derived from all the bits and pieces that were inside. It had a little floor in there for the kids, and I moved all the windows and I put these doors in, mahogany doors that I had in store for years. Came from Wicks originally, many years ago, and I cut them down to fit. But I noticed on this one at the base there's work required because that's splitting out, so that needs gluing and cramping, and that doesn't look too good either, and I need that to keep the water out. So I need to take that door off and repair that and repair this, and there's one section at the front that needs repair. Otherwise it looks okay. My partner was an artist. I worked for a porcelain company in the Midlands for years, and she planted that, didn't plant it, she painted that little plaque which echoes the view. The sun might stop me getting it with the camera, but there's a view over there of the Cotswold Way running across, and this is a view of it with the sheep in the field. And she also did some work in here, mostly for her little relatives, little kids. She did that little fairy thing for one of the little girls, and she did the badgers, and that's Jemima Puddle Duck, and the little Christmas mouse, look, and Peter and the rabbit. These aren't direct copies, incidentally. She's made them different from the original copies, so there's no copyright problem. Now there's a field mouse. That shows you what a field mouse looks like. Can you see its big ears and very strong rear feet? That's a classic field mouse which we get around here. Another Christmas scene with a robin with snow. I like that one. In fact, I like them all. I couldn't do any of this. She's got an owl. Let's put an owl on this side. What have we got here? There's a frog on a lily pad and a kingfisher. And then she got bored with it and stopped. Well, there you go. This is a part of a solar system, and I'll turn it on and you can see there's an LED light up there, so we can come down and sit here in the evening if we wish. And as I say, I've moved all the windows about, rebuilt the sections, and bolted it all, well, screwed it all together. No nails, of course, never use nails, otherwise you can never get anything apart. And yeah, so there's not too much to do, just the front section there, which looks a bit rotten, and take the door off, clamp that up. There are primroses in this part of the wood. That's probably the best one. It really does get the light there and looks nice. Yeah, those are all bluebells on coming up. They normally come up a month later. Yeah, so we wander down the back end of the summer house, and there's some tiny little daffodils there, dwarf ones. I've just planted that monkey puzzle tree. It was in a pot and it wasn't doing very well, so I thought I'd plant it here and see if it survived. Snowdrops just going over, but the crocuses are looking nice, although they're sort of on the way out. Yeah, I like this kind of wild garden. It took quite a bit of work to clear all the rubbish out. There was a big fallen tree, there's the stump. And I was cutting up wood here for ages. And I cut this into with a chainsaw, cut this bit of trunk with the chainsaw to make a seat, and also these little tables. This is the best view here. If you sit down here of an evening, you probably can't see much because of the sun, but you get the best view of Longdown, which is the hill opposite. That's about a mile away. Those daffs are just coming, but in direct sun the snowdrops are now just turning, so I've got no idea what any of these plants are. As I say, I'm absolutely no gardener. There's some sort of green flower there, but heavens only knows what they are. Just take a last look at the back end here. Yeah, some daffs are okay. Yeah, the dwarf daffodils look really nice. I've got to be careful going down this path because it's full of snowdrops. So I cut these paths through when I was clearing the fallen tree, which took a while, I can tell you, on my own. Some rubbish to go on the bonfire. I think that's sort of about it. That's a little record of how it looks at the end of February. I'll soon be firing that pile of wood. That's the last of the hedging, and all the debris. I'll pick up the debris and put that on there too. So it's looking okay.